Hey guys, welcome to Black Angus Reviews. Thank you for joining me on this review of the last episode of Season 12, the series finale for the Clone Wars. And wow, it did not disappoint. This 4-episode story arc to close it out is something not just for Clone Wars, not just for Star Wars, but for film in general. There is a cinematic language to this final quadrilogy of episodes that reflects on the whole saga, especially the pivotal moment of Order 66. But I honestly felt like Denis Villeneuve, my favorite director, was directing this and dictating the cinematography, especially this episode. There was just something awe-inspiring, captivating, and I want to see more Star Wars like this. There's just something there that we haven't seen before. It echoes so much, makes you think of things, but I haven't seen Star Wars quite like this. And despite me not wanting Dave Filoni to lead Lucasfilm, I don't know who can really do that right now, even Favreau. He definitely should have a place having dialogue about what to do with Star Wars. He has had George Lucas ear. He worked with him for 6 years or more, and he can knock it out of the ballpark, like we've seen here. So right off the bat, the music with the title card for Clone Wars, the red, it's menacing. This is saying something dreadful, you know, at a dark time in the storytelling of the saga. And there was just like this awe to the music. If it was like Gregorian chant or something, it just felt ominous, and it was a great tone setter. And it kind of told you this is going to be bittersweet as a viewer. There's going to be some cost or something. I like that. It was really good. I'm really surprised that every episode has been under, like 25 minutes of viewership. I thought they might go a full hour, or, 40 minutes, something like just, even 30 minutes, just show like some distinction in like, but no, they played it tight. They played it like, hey, we're going to just, every episode is about the same length, and it's going to be no different here. It's, same old. Interesting, if I'm comparing it to series finales that I know of, it makes me think of Everybody Loves Raymond. I know, a completely unrelated type of show, but that show played it tight in the sense of the last episode was just another episode. They just let you kind of let it live on in your head or in your heart. This show definitely moves away from Clone Wars and its finale as far as the era of the Clone Wars. There is a finality, finally, in how they've approached it and blended it into the series. And we'll get to that in a moment. One of the coolest things in this really good episode, it's a very simple episode. There's just a couple little things. There's no real story building per se to the rest of the saga or anything. It's no key important elements necessarily. It was just very visual. It was very much just like experiencing the detriment of what's going on in the saga at this moment for a couple characters. Darth Maul wreaking havoc, causing chaos, tearing up the hyperdrive system. That was awesome. I was waiting to see him use Force Lightning. I have the cool Gentle Giant animated Darth Maul statue where he's doing lightning, and I've always wanted to see him actually do it. I don't know if there's ever been a product besides that showed that. So I was a little disappointed, but the imagery of that, him taking out clones, that was great. And it kind of culminates this whole thing, they're trying to avoid killing the clones because, like, that's their brethren or, fellow soldiers. There was a good back and forth. I felt they kind of made it go a little too long. They had those stupid droids, those kind of personified astromechs. Josh Genovese, if you're watching this, I saw that video, like, it's Star Wars. The stupid droids is Star Wars. No, man. Undercut so much tone. and they let those fuckers have it in this episode. And I loved it. It's such joy that the clones put a cap in that droid ass. Loved it. I expected those droids to become Chopper, and maybe they're alluding to that or something, the personality of some of the droids. But we didn't have to get bogged down with some Chopper shit. That was great. But there's like this Halo jump scene when, after the hyperdrive, they're getting pulled into this moon, and they're falling down with gravitational pull while they're fighting on the ship. And it finally just starts breaking apart, getting in the atmosphere, and Rex gets in the ship. Ahsoka's having to like Halo jump to try to catch the ship and stuff, and she misses and stuff, and you're like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen to her, you know? What's happening to Rex? And it reminded me of the imagery of Godzilla 2014, their Halo jump into San Francisco. It's really cool, you know, especially there's a lot of drama, just the imagery of like the ship falling apart and stuff, and the smoke and the dust and everything. It was just really good. It's epic. It felt like this 4-episode story, especially this episode, and the imagery, this should have been on the big screen. What a loss. Like, maybe they'll do an in-betweener movie. You know, people crap on the Clone Wars movie, the original, like, 08 Clone Wars, but it serves purpose to start off this show, this journey, this specific medium and its imagery. I think it'd be awesome to see them close up, because I'll get to that really soon. Let me make sure I get all these points out. The falling ship. The other thing about the falling ship is, you know how Jakku, you see that ship, that fallen Imperial ship in the Star Destroyer in Force Awakens trailer? You're like, wow, I've never seen that. What? Like, that tells you something. You've never seen a down Star Destroyer like that in a Star Wars movie. What happened, you know? That's the scene we're missing. We're missing an epic scene with, you know, more context in this episode, but Force Awakens, as much as that movie's good, it could have been so much better with imagery like this of like an epic precursor scene to like set the stage at what's happened 30 years ago. And you could have seen that, man. Like, as epic as that shot is, imagine actually a sequence of fights and Star Destroyers going down and the rebels taking them out and just swarming them or whatever. The last stand of the Empire. So yeah, it made me think the context of the full saga. What can we do with storytelling, you know, to accentuate things? Again, the language of this was beautiful. There's certain wide shots, especially at the end when they're showing Ahsoka having this memorial for all those dead clones, including Jesse, by having the helmets on sticks, for a sign of respect, and she drops her saber from Anakin. So there's, you know, a journey to be had for her to get those white sabers in Rebels. So I thought that was kind of cool, and heartbreaking. You know, it's sad stuff, and they don't disappoint. They just add to that. Okay. Why the image is what it is. They have Darth Vader in this episode. It's awesome how it leads in, because I didn't know what was happening. I thought we were maybe on Hoth for some reason before the Rebels got there. I was wondering what the context is going to be. But no, it's the same planet, the same moon that they crashed on. Ahsoka's gone, so is Rex. And they got snowtroopers and stormtroopers kind of scouting the air. There's an Imperial ship dropped down slowly. You're like, wait, the Emperor? What's he going to be doing? Nope, it's Vader. You hear the breathing, and they cut to him. He walks up. And they don't do like Rebels did by kind of playing on the McQuarrie style of the concept art for Vader, where it's more slanted and like an emotional face shield. It's the Clone Wars style of animating and drawing, but they played it straight. It's just Vader, emotional, unfeeling, mask and all, and it looked awesome. And it's just like, God, if we could get a Clone Wars style animation, but with Vader, maybe we'll get a mini series. Man, there's so many possibilities that this episode makes me want with future projects, and it's so good. He walks up, there's no dialogue. He finds Ahsoka's saber, ignites it, and then he turns away and just walks away. You know, he's got a mission. He's like, he knows Ahsoka's still alive, and he's got the directive of Order 66 and wiping out the Jedi, and that's his friend, not just his Padawan, but his friend. There's so much emotion there. They definitely played up like a kind of a love interest at the few times you've seen Anakin and her together. Like what could be or what could have been between them. It just makes it a little more sad because there's definitely chemistry there. But there's no words in this episode for Vader when he arrives at some point after, seeing the Death Star in episode 3, that last scene of film. But they show this Ahsoka Trooper helmet that's like cracked in the face mask, and Vader's, shadow, his body is in the reflection of the visor, and it's just like, oh man, this is epic. There's so much, I love watching movies with little dialogue that use the imagery to say so much, and there's so much there that you can extrapolate. Yeah, you need some knowledge, but even without it, you can tell there's a lot being said through it. And wow, what a way to go out. Definitely surprised they didn't have more beef or more characters involved. Played it really straightforward, fast and loose and simple. It's not hard to please us. This is a cartoon. It's a 4-episode story arc of a cartoon. 20, 40, 60. Giving us an hour, 20 minutes of content roughly. This last 4-episode arc, and I just want more. But because it's limited quantity and whatnot, it's, I don't know. I'm impressed. Thank you, Dave Filoni and company, the crew who helped put this last arc together. Don't like what you did the first 2 arcs, the first 8 episodes of the show, but of this season. But you knocked it out of the park. So I'm kind of even killed on the whole Filoni, whatever his involvement in Star Wars. Definitely should have a part of Star Wars involved, in my opinion. What did you think of this episode? How did you like seeing Vader at the end of it? Did you like the wide shots, the cinematic language of this episode? What was your favorite part? What do you think they should do for future content? There is that rumored Rebels sequel or tangent story being made. Are you excited for it now that Disney has shown what they can do in this specific field? This is the best thing they've done. Never saw Resistance, don't care to. Rebels was disappointing. Didn't think they could do anything good with this at Disney, and my mind has been changed. So let me know in the comments. Let's have this discussion. Thank you for joining, and I'll talk to you next time.